welcome back. It's week 6 and I'm still wearing the same shirt as I was on week 1. How does this happen? This week is a good week. We're going to be doing our solo. Now this is finally the creative application of all the things we've been building up to. So the concept of soloing over the chords themselves by using triads and the triad tones, as well as, and this would be a separate study, I don't get into this, but using some of the scale tones in the key. So in this case, the key of A minor. So we have A minor, G, and F. And so we're going to start soloing up here, and we're going to end up all the way down at the bottom of the neck. It's a good time. So let's zoom up and take a closer look. So one thing I did with this solo is I really wanted it to sound like a solo, like something that anybody would want to take the time to learn and you know, to possibly share. I wanted it to cover the entire span of what we've been dealing with, which is from the 10th fret all the way down to the open strings. And I wanted, of course, it to be in the key of A minor and to go around to the triads that we've been using. So that said, I have taken a few liberties. I've played notes that are up here, up on the first string, which we haven't done yet, but I really wanted to, you know, why not? It's a solo, right? And there's some passing notes and things like that that aren't part of the triads directly, but are in the key. So you can dismiss those as either neighboring triad notes or scale tones, however you want to look at it. So that said, let's get started. Okay, so the first note is 10. 10th fret, 3rd finger on the 2nd string. So you're going to play that note, and then you're going to hammer from 8 back into that same note. And then you're going to play 8 on the high string right after. And that's more or less your phrasing. Okay, kind of like that. Now, the next little phrase that fits over our F chord, so second bar, is going to be a pull off and then a slide down. So you're going to do 10, pull off to 8, slide down to 5. You didn't think I was going to make it easy, did you? Okay, and you get to hang on that note for a little bit. So it sounds like this with the backing track. Okay, nice and pretty. So now we have what I would argue is the hardest run of the song. So what we're going to do here, you're going to really have to get used to having your first finger with that habit of rolling that I talked a little bit about, where you can't play everything on the tip of your first finger, you need to play it flat. But at the same time, you're not playing it flat so you clamp over the strings and you get a bunch of string noise. You're playing it flat so you can roll from string to string and lose the note to get the next note, so both notes don't ring over. Now this little piece here, this is around the G chord, it starts around the G chord of the second bar. It sounds like, so all that stuff right there, you're going to have to have a disciplined first finger to get this nice and clean. If you try hopping around, if you're too much work doing this, it's, you know, you don't want to be jumping string to string. You're just going to have to start to learn the boundaries and how many strings you can cover by rolling your finger back and forth. So this lick's going to be a long time coming, but this is the hardest lick, so don't worry about it. You'll be okay. So starts like this. You're going to do 5 to 7 on your D string, and then your first note, first note of where I think in my head the roll starts, but never mind, don't worry about it, is you do 5 to 7, D string, 5 on your G string, then you're going to do 6, pull off to 5 on your B string. And then you use the fingertip, you do that rolly thing there, like we did a couple lessons back. Okay. Then you have 7 to 5 on the 3rd string. So I'm looking at the first going into the second beat of that A minor in the third bar. You have 7 pulling off to 5. And then finally rolling down back to 5 where you started on the D string. Not the easiest thing to do. Okay? That's the brunt of the difficulty in the lick. Is getting those notes nice and clean and kind of flowing into each other. Okay, so now we have 7, third finger sliding up to 9. So you're going to do 7 sliding up to 9 on the third string, and then bringing down the first finger at 7 on the G string. And this is the one case where you want both those notes to ring over because it sounds nice and pretty. And that highlights your G chord that's in the background rhythm guitar perfectly. So you want both those notes. Okay, now you have a little thing to end it, where you're going to do 9 to 10 with the third finger, slide up 1 fret, come back, pull off to 7. So from the top, okay, so that is a good half of our little solo here. Now we have another little piece. So I'm looking at bar 4, which is your second system on the G chord there. You have this is where we're working our way up to the top to emulate that kind of Stairway to Heaven, the part from Stairway to Heaven, only in a simpler format. So we're working our way up there. So we have 7, it is a 7 sliding to 9, and then an 8 and a 10. So we're going to do this with the middle finger though. So it's going to be middle finger 7 to 9, and then that sets up our first finger to reach 8 and our third finger to reach 10. Okay, now the next part, you're going to hit 8. So now I'm on the next bar over on that A minor. So we're doing 8 and then 10 pulling off, back to 10, back to 8. So our lick is kind of so it's 8, 10, 8, 10, back to 8. I guess really audibly the lick seems to start from there, but you get the idea. So you're going to do that lick 3 times. And now we have a little thing at the end of it, which is going to be 8 to 10. Now I'm in bar 6 on the second half of bar 6. So we're doing, so right over that F before it comes back to the G. So it's 8 to 10, hammer, and then 8 on the high string. So you're going, and then you have like a pull off from 10 to 8 on the high string, and then a little bendy at 10, back down, back to 8. So that whole little phrase okay. Now the next piece, and then I'm going to play all of it. So the next piece, I'm looking at the last 2 bars, last system down, and this is just on the beats. You're kind of smoothly exiting the song, the solo. You're going to go 10, 8, so logical fingers, third and first. And now you have a little phrase of groupings of 3 where you're going to do a hammer-on, a pull-off followed by a slide. So the first one, you go 10, 8. So it's going to be 9, the pull off run going down, is 9 pulling off to 7. This is all on the 3rd string, sliding down a whole step to 5. That's the first one. Now you're going to kind of reset and do some of the notes you just did earlier that you can reach. So you're going to do 7, pulling off to 5, sliding to 4. So it's okay. Then it's going to be 5, pulling off to 4, sliding to 2. And then just to make it, I don't know, cool, I added that 3rd finger grabbing the 3rd fret on the high string. Okay, so now let's do the whole solo here.